Good morning, everyone. We will start in a minute. And if you just log in, please make sure you're muted. And also, we just launched a poll. So if you don't mind just doing the poll quickly, thank you. All right, good morning again. We'll go ahead and get it started. It's 9:01. Good morning from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and good evening to all of you who are new Chinese international students and your families. I hope they're able to join you. We're very excited, even though we're disappointed we're now able to go to China. Last year we were in Beijing and Shanghai. This year, because COVID-19, we're unable to go. However, our commitment to supporting international students has never changed. So we decided to deliver a virtual presentation. Hopefully you'll be able to get all the information you needed, even though there's a lot of uncertainty nobody can control. But we are able to control the information that we're sharing with you, so you will be prepared with all the information resources at your fingertips. So please allow me to first introduce myself. My name is Kate Jung. I'm the Assistant Director for Global Engagement and Education Abroad at International Center. My gender pronouns are she, her, hers. Today, I am actually in the office. The internet unexpected interrupted at home, so I had to rush to the office, and I don't even know what I look like, anything. So fingers crossed, hopefully everything will go smoothly. Today, I am wearing a blouse with a little bit of white and gray color. And then I have black hair and brown eyes, and I wear a pair of glasses. I came to United States in 1992 and have been working at University of Michigan since 1998 in different capacities. Very excited to deliver this virtual presentation today with my co-presenters and colleagues working behind the scene. How about you, Jake?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jake Kelzer. My gender pronouns are he, him, and his. And my role at the International Center is Program Advisor for the Global Engagement and Education Abroad team. I am wearing a University of Michigan t-shirt. Hopefully you can see it there. I have glasses on. And yeah, that's about it. I am originally from the state of Michigan, so I am from the US. I went to the University of Michigan as an undergraduate and studied history. And then after I got my degree at Michigan, I decided to move to Spain to teach for 2 years. And although I am not I don't have experience as an international student in the United States. I do have some experience living in another country. So hopefully, we can make some connections with our experiences that way. And also, since I am a native of Michigan, I'm always happy to answer any types of questions you might have about the state of Michigan or the United States or anything like that. All right, so yeah, look forward to talking to you all, and I'm going to pass it over to Tammy.
Hi everyone, happy Dragon Boat Festival, and my name is Men Wang, and I go by Tammy here. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm from Eastern China, a city called Ningbo. Of course, I am an international student and pursue my graduate degree in the School of Social Work. Also, I am a student intern on the Global Engagement and Education Abroad team at the International Center. As for what I look like, if you can see me, today I'm wearing round glasses, which is similar to the one Harry Potter wears, I think so. I have black hair and black eyes. Also, I'm also wearing a University of Michigan t-shirt. Yeah, the one in Chinese. I believe that you will see my face a lot this summer and the next whole year. Welcome all of you to say hi and have a talk. As for this orientation, I'm quite excited because last year I was just in your spot, while this year I'm here. I really appreciate this precious opportunity for working with Kate, Jake, and the two Kellys behind the screen, as well for giving you this info-based orientation. And now I will pass over to Kate. Kate?
Okay, I assume Tammy finished introducing herself because something is not working, the sound system on my laptop, but I'll go ahead and move on with the slide. So we have a lot to cover today. I am assuming all of you probably received the, or have heard about University of Michigan fall, what it's going to look like. It's going to be a mix. Some classes will be in person, others might be all online. So just make sure you check the website. I am looking at 2 computer monitors. That's why I'm going back and forth. So I apologize if I'm not making clear eye contact with all of you. So today we're going to focus on campus life and support. And then also there will be social, academic life and support resources that Tammy is going to cover. And Jake will move on talking about basic immigration regulations that you need to be aware of so you can maintain your legal status while pursuing a degree at University of Michigan. And then I will cover orientations and what we offer beyond orientations throughout your study at the University of Michigan, so you have everything you need. A lot of things that I want to remind everybody, we're not necessarily expert. A lot of things that we may say, we don't know the answer, because keep in mind, each office on campus has its own expertise and information. So we're gonna do our best, address all the questions that you send it to us, and thank you in advance. If time allows, at the very end, we'll be able to use chat, allow you to ask more questions. So let's move on. I am sure when you apply for University of Michigan that you have done a lot of homework, knowing that it's a large, decentralized public institution with over 48,000 students on campus. Majority are undergraduate students. However, among the international students population, majority are professional graduate degree seeking students. And they're representing over 130 countries. So University of Michigan ranked number 15 in the nation in terms of the size for international students here. In terms of the services that you will use at International Center, you will come to International Center for immigration advice, health insurance questions, because it can be very confusing, and all the programs that we offer to support you. I put a hyperlink here. So after today's presentation, you will be able to have the PowerPoint and also the recording. Recording should be automatic. And then you'll be able to see all the hyperlinks. At the very end, we have a resources slide putting all the hyperlinks together for you. And then the University Fall announcement is on the UMich homepage as well. Make sure you read information. Keep in mind this was just released on Monday. A lot of details has to be worked out. Another important information, a lot of you probably wondering, if I do online study, will the tuition be cheaper? Good question. University of Michigan Regents are meeting today. So hopefully a decision will be announced shortly for new academic year. Now I'm going to transition to Tammy. She's going to cover about campus life and support.
Thank you, Kate. My part is about campus life and the support offered by the university. We all know that U of M is a very large public school in the United States. So there are a lot of resources around the campus. As for me, even though I have been here for around 1 year now, I didn't explore every institution that provides support for students in different fields yet. However, what I know is whenever I face some difficulties, whether it's about life or academics, there are already systems, procedures, and places that I could reach out to help me. Kate is not so quick. I could reach out to help me navigate all the difficulties. So there are various resources here in the university. Within the limited time, we are not able to cover everything here, just like Kate mentioned before. So I hope that after my sharing, you could have a brief picture of what life looked like in the U of M and Ann Arbor. So yeah, first, where is Michigan? As you can see from the map, Michigan is the only state that borders on 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, and it's the only one of the states. Kate, something wrong. Yeah, okay, cool. So it's the only one of the states to be split into 2 large land segments, the upper one and the lower one. And you might have heard the term Midwest. Michigan is usually referred as a Midwestern state. Besides that, we are very close to Canada. So which means it's very cold here. I will talk about cold winter later. Now let's just get a little closer at Michigan. You will find that the state is shaped like a mitten. Those who live in Lower Michigan have become accustomed to showing people where they are by pointing to a spot on their right hand. In other words, Michiganders just carry a map with them at all times. So a person who's from Ann Arbor will introduce themselves like this: I'm from here. What does that mean? Just means, okay, I'm from Ann Arbor. So Ann Arbor is just like in between your thumb and your index finger. So it's Ann Arbor. So now you know. And also, Ann Arbor is home to the University of Michigan, and is one of the most beautiful cities in Michigan, and is consistently ranked among the best places to live in the Midwest. So the University of Michigan campus buildings are spread across Ann Arbor. In addition to U of M facilities, there are also many restaurants, parks, museums, and galleries. So just as I said, we are quite close to Canada, and Michigan borders on 4 of the 5 Great Lakes. So yeah, about the weather. Okay, Kate. Yeah, about the weather, the Great Lakes cool the hot winds of summer and warm the cold winds of winter. So it gives Michigan a more moderate and somewhat moister climate than some other North Central states. In Ann Arbor, we have 4 distinctive seasons. I will separate them into 2. One is the warm seasons, another is cold winter. The warm seasons include spring, summer, and fall. They are all very beautiful, and the temperature really goes above 28 Celsius degree throughout the year. As you can see from the picture, the lower left one represents the autumn here, and you can see the leaves just change the color. Of course, it's spectacular to witness all the sceneries in person. Actually, I do love the fall here, but you know, the weather here in Michigan always surprises you. For example, April showers are supposed to bring May flowers, but sometimes it's snow. And okay, so winter comes with snow. Winter is the season that seems to last the longest here in Michigan, which goes from mid or late October to early April. The winters are freezing and windy. Just get ready for it. There are a lot of snow, but it depends on which specific area you come from China. Take me as an example. I'm from southeast of China. I haven't seen real snow before, so actually I'm quite excited about snow. And I did a lot of outdoor activities last winter, such as playing snowballs, build a snowman, and especially play the snow angel. And yeah, it's quite beautiful, as you can see from the lower right picture. That one is the snow scene taken in the law school. While if you are afraid of cold, as long as you prepared with the right gear, such as a long and heavy coat, snow boots, hats, and gloves, when you are outdoor, you will be okay. So talk about coats, boots. Should you prepare all of those back home, or you could stock them here? Let's say, what should you pack? First and foremost, here is the list that you must pack at home before you come to the States, such as passport, I-20, and visa. And do prepare some copies of each document for in case. And prepare some clothing that you can layer for different temperatures, which means you can dress in layers and take it off easily when it's hot, vice versa. And then personal necessities depends on your own condition, such as glasses and contacts. What's more, cash. You may bring some cash with you for the first time you come to the United States, but I just remind you that if you bring more than $10,000, you must declare it to the US border, and you can check the blue link money here for more details. Secondly, there is something I will not recommend you to take. Again, try not to bring a lot of cash. If you really have to do so, do not forget to declare it to the US border. And Chinese traditional medicine, as well as fresh vegetables and fruits, they are not recommended to take. I will encourage all of you to look at the blue link USDHS here for checking the stuff if you have no idea whether it's on the prohibited list or not. The last one, it just depends on your own preferences, such as school supplies, pens, notebooks, and etc. Honestly, you could buy everything here in Ann Arbor, so don't worry too much about that. As for the warm clothing, you can either bring some winter clothing to Ann Arbor from home, or you can just stock up your equipment here. We have added the link of packing list from school in the additional resource slide. And also there is an article that was written by an undergraduate talking about his packing experience. So yeah, just check the link out after this orientation. So now you have your package prepared, and you take the flight to the Ann Arbor or anywhere in the United States. The nearest airport to Ann Arbor is the Detroit Metropolitan Airport, DTW. There are several ways you can travel to Ann Arbor from DTW. First, Michigan Flyer, which is also the most cost-efficient one. It costs you $12 for a reserved ride and a reservation. You can go online to purchase tickets in advance. However, the schedule has been set already, so you have to leave enough time for you to take the ride in time. Another thing is that Michigan Flyer stops at the transit center in Ann Arbor, which is close to the central campus. This means if you are not live close to the central campus, Michigan Flyer might not be a good option for you. Meanwhile, due to the COVID-19, Michigan Flyer is currently suspended. So make sure you double check the link Michigan Flyer here. Another option is taxi and other public transportation platforms such as Uber and Lyft. We may know the Uber in China mainland. Lyft is just another platform similar to Uber. You could just download the apps on your mobile phone and order rides through the apps, which is quite convenient. Of course, you could also use your own network for giving you a ride from the airport. And then after you arrive at Ann Arbor, transportation is quite convenient here. Even though we all know that it cannot compete with public transportation in most cities in China, you can still survive with your own legs and of course buses here, right? And there are two kinds of buses running around the campus. The first one is the U of M Blue buses, which is also called the Magic Bus. They're free and no identification requirements when you enter. That means if you have friends or relatives come to visit you here in Ann Arbor, they could also take the Blue bus for free. The second one is called the Ride, which is a white city bus. These buses are also free to U of M students. However, they require you to swipe your M card when you enter. So keep in mind that take your M card with you all the time. If you forget to bring your M card, the ticket fare is $1.50. Of course, if you forget to bring cash, you could only rely on your legs. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 situation, there are constantly updates regarding the transportation services. Check on the right link here to see the most up-to-date information regarding buses, routes, and schedules. All right, let's go to the next slide, housing. As for the housing, which might be a stressful one for all of you, and we also get many questions from you about the housing in Ann Arbor, housing assignments, and etc. But just like Kate mentioned very earlier, we are not the expert here. And also the university just announced the decisions for the fall semester several days ago. And while university housing hasn't rolled out a plan for the fall yet. So if you have submitted an application, just keep an eye on your emails for more updates. Now, let me just give you a brief housing introduction. Generally, we have two types of housing. One is two types of housing, on-campus housing and off-campus housing. On-campus housing is running by the university because U of M, the whole college town, occupies almost 27,000 students. It could be quite energy consuming for finding a house. While once you get enough information and get familiar with the process, you will be able to find the most fitted option. Just like I list here, there are different on-campus housing for undergraduates and graduates. Also, just to remind you, whether you are undergraduates or graduates, it's your choice to live in on-campus housing. It's not required. However, on-campus housing does have many benefits, especially if you are an undergraduate student, because the residential hall is kind of a community complex. You could build relationships with other residents and participate a lot of events, educational, cultural, and social. It's quite a good experience for you as a freshman here. As for me, I did apply for the on-campus housing last year, but I applied too late to get a spot. So it's quite popular though. If you didn't submit your application yet, I will recommend you to apply it sooner than later if you have interest in on-campus housing. You can click into the on-campus link for more information. Besides that, make sure that you read about their policies for leases, such as the start and end dates. Especially for undergraduate students, there's something you have to pay attention to, because during winter and the summer breaks, you are not able to stay in the residence hall. However, you can leave all of your possessions in your room in winter, but you cannot leave your possessions in summer. So you might need another plan. Also, we added the storage services you might need in the resources slide. Go check them out after this orientation. As for the off-campus housing, Ann Arbor has a very variety of private housing for you to choose from. Several types of off-campus housing, apartments, room rentals, and house rentals. What does the 1B mean here? 1B means 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom, and the 1B 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, which means you have to share the bathroom with another roommate. Yeah, and many students like to make rentals due to price, facilities, locations, and so on. Take me as an example. I lived right in the South University, an apartment called the University Towers. The reason why I chose there, it's only 5 minutes walking from the School of Social Work, which is quite convenient, especially in winter. I don't need to be outdoors for a long time. Also, it's easy for me to access everything there, such as the chain store, 7-Eleven, restaurants, bank branches, ATMs, etc. The link of campus here is a housing website, which is university run and has more regulations. Also, there is a virtual housing fair hosted just yesterday. You can also check the link virtual housing fair here for the recordings. Besides that, a few things you might need to consider if you want to live in off-campus housing. Just like some buildings may be older than others, larger machines are not always available. Utilities, electric, gas, internet, often not included in the rent. So check as many details as you could. Also, before signing the lease, the university student legal services can review your lease for you. Make sure to check the timing of signing or renewing lease, just like how much you have to pay for a security deposit, and if payments are monthly or yearly. Once you sign the lease, you are responsible to pay your rent throughout your lease. And keep in mind, different housing owners or landlords have different policies. So it's quite important to have clear communication with them. If possible, you could also set a virtual housing tour with them by FaceTime or other ways. While try not to sign a lease online or before you get the confirmation from the legal services, because there are a lot of rental scams around the campus. I will talk about it more in later slides. Now, let's go to the next slide, dining. If you are living in a residence hall, congratulations, you will have an unlimited meal plan. This means it allows you to swipe into any dining hall on campus whenever they're open. Having swiped in, there are no further restrictions on how much you may eat. As I know, every dining hall comes with a waffle maker and it comes with a soft serve ice cream machine, but you might need to confirm it later. What I want to point is unlimited meal plan may promote questionable eating habits, so watch out, yeah. Other than the students living in a residence hall, students living off campus could also purchase meal plans. For more information, you could check the link dining hall here. Besides that, university dining halls provide various food for different needs. Whether you are a vegan or you are allergic to something, there is always right food for you. All right, regard to banking, as an international student, you can set up a local bank account in the United States. While it's your personal preferences to choose what kind of bank, local, national, or international. But I do suggest you open an account and put the cash in the bank right away when you arrive, because it's not safe to carry such amount of money with you all the time. And you can always change the bank after you settle down. On a regular basis, a valid passport and the US visa or I-20 are mandatory required to open a bank account. You will also be asked to provide personal information such as name, local US address, home country addresses, and etc. based on different banks. Here are two banks that are affiliated to the U of M. One is University of Michigan Credit Union. Another one is PNC Bank. I want to stress PNC Bank here because it has authority contracts with U of M. Also, it gives U of M students some benefits such as every month, you can wire money from your home country for free service fees once. You could click the link PNC Bank here for more information. Besides that, whether there is close by ATM where you live would be an important consideration for choosing a bank. Also, just to make sure to set up online banking. It will help you save a lot of time rather than physically visit the bank. Some points you might need to know. Banks in the United States are insured up to $250,000, and you can always electronically wire money from China. So there is no need to bring a lot of cash with you when you come to the States. Also, keep an eye on the fees and the penalties associated with your bank account. All right, as for how to pay tuition and the fees, you have to know the bills will be posted to your students' Wolverine Access portal monthly, and an email will be sent to you. So check your UMich email often. Also, if your parents want to receive those kind of messages, you could also set up a family account. Just click this link, Parents and the Family Associations, here for more details. As for the payment, the University of Michigan accepts payments on students like cash, check, and e-payment. The university does not accept credit cards, so keep in mind. I want to mention about the payment plan here. The payment plan allows each term's education expenses to be spread over 5 equal months. They're free of interest or other expenses. Only one fee you have to pay each term. It's just like a non-refundable $30 enrollment fee. However, your participation in the U of M payment plan is optional. It only depends on your own financial status. If you don't enroll in the payment plan, your tuition, fees, room, board, and other fees are generally due on or before the first day of class each term. So keep in mind of that. I would recommend all of you to look into the 2020 to 21 payment plan brochure link for more information. As for the international payments, you might want to ask, the University of Michigan accepts international payments via Flywire. It's a secure and trusted way to pay online from any country and any bank, typically using your home currency. Of course, you can also choose other options. Let's go to the next slide, health and wellness. As for the international health insurance, just keep in mind, as soon as you arrive on campus and complete your mandatory immigration check-in, you will be automatically enrolled in the U of M International Student Health Insurance Plan. Your health insurance coverage will begin on the program start date on your Form I-20. Also, the bills will post on your Wolverine Access monthly, as the same as your tuition. As for the University Health Services, UHS here, it can provide most of your health care while you are a student at the university. Language interpretations is available. So yeah, you can always ask for it. Just remember to bring your M card with you wherever you go. It's kind of an ID here for making appointments. And you may concern about the healthcare here in university. Other than the UHS, U of M has the best hospitals in the United States and will give you advanced medical care. All right, let's go to the next slide. Besides the physical health supports, U of M also offers free mental health support to all students, individually and in groups. There are counselors at the Counseling and Psychological Services, CAPS, who can speak Mandarin Chinese. They also offer events and group supports. From my point of view, this is a good place for you to check out when you face some life problems or just need someone to talk. As for the immunizations, I know that some of you have asked about this. Just to remind you that immunizations are recommended to protect your health and the health of others, but they are not required by the university or the US government. Although the university encourages you to be fully immunized, while you could also get immunizations at UHS for a fee. Just check the link, get immunization here for more details. As for the 2 certificates for the international traveler from China, it's also optional. They are not mandatory required by the U of M or US government. Just to my knowledge, when I entered into the US border, they didn't check mine. So yeah. As for the recreational sports center, we have many recreation centers at the U of M, both in Central Campus and North Campus. Also, there are a lot of facilities available for you. Just try to explore as more as possible, since the fees has already been included in your tuition. All right, let's talk about the safe. U of M is a college town, basically. It's safe due to the security services provided by all the departments. However, the definition of safety varies. We still have to be cautious personally in case of emergency events, such as you have to make sure to always lock your doors, try not to walk at midnight alone. If you encounter a life-threatening emergency event, please call 911 immediately. As for the emergency alert, U of M emergency alert is an urgent mass notification system that keeps students, faculty, and staff informed about major active emergencies on campus. This system will be activated without undue delay by the Division of Public Safety and Security, DPSS. In addition, you could also look for the blue light phone shown in the picture to make emergency calls. Besides, if you think that it's not safe to walk home at night, U of M offers a safe ride service to get you home safely. It's a free service that transports students, faculty, and staff to their residence or vehicle within a 1-mile radius of campus. Other than physical safety, you can register your valuable electronic devices, such as your phone and your computer, throughout DPSS in case they are lost or found. I will recommend all of you to keep the phone number 734-763-1131 for emergency crimes. All right. I just want to stress crime alert again. It will be automatically sent to you via the emails. And here, scams. As I said in the housing slide, there are a lot of scams across the campus. Every year, we have students lose their money because of these scams. So you have to watch out yet. Just like I list here, coronavirus scams. You have no idea that the scammer also keeps up with the news. So yeah, just watch out. You can click on these warnings from the International Center link for more information. All right, in addition to living, wellness, and safety resources, U of M also has abundant academic resources available for you. And the libraries, so U of M library is a system of 20 libraries that includes a graduate and undergraduate science and many other specialized libraries. As you can see from the picture from up to down, the first one is the law school library, which is the most beautiful one. The next one is the Shapiro Undergraduate Students Library. We call it ugly. You could check the link at the resources slide for more lingo information of different buildings on campus. The last is the Hetero Graduate Students Library. And of course, you can always click on the link libraries here to see a list of libraries and departments. In the libraries, you will find the open and the private study spaces. The online library system provides a vast database for research, publications, and books. As for the academic advising, you might say different schools. Oh, what's that? Okay. The schools for undergraduate or graduate students have different platforms, systems for advising. However, the concept is the same to offer academic support to students regarding degree and the course planning, such as adding or dropping classes, and or transferring credits and etc. It's also very common for students to reach out to the academic advising if they encounter academic difficulties, just like I did a lot last year. All right, according to office hours, professors will list their office hour on the syllabus. It's always a great way to build a relationship and receive one-on-one support for class materials. Also, sometimes the office hour will hosted by the graduate student instructor, GIS here, which means as a graduate student, if you are qualified enough, you can be a GSI to assist professors with class discussion and lecture sessions. Just check your school homepage for more information if you have interest in GSI. All right, lastly, language support. As an international student, I totally echo all of you that as a non-native English language speaker, it's quite difficult for us to speak or write English as fluently as domestic students do. However, there are many English language sports such as writing, tutoring, and courses for speaking. I want to stress the English Language Institution, ELI here, because I gained a lot of benefits from them throughout my first year. ELI serves both undergraduate and graduate students. There are programs such as conversation partners and conversation circles that pair international students with native speakers. Also, all of them are covered by a lot of topics. You can just choose that you like. It's a great way to improve your English and make friends. So highly recommend it. All right, we're almost at the end of my section. I know there are a lot of information that has been covered here. And it's okay that if you are not able to process all of them at once. I was totally at your spot last year and was overwhelmed for all the information provided by the different departments. So yeah, I totally get you. But just to assure you that all the resources here are for you to go through at any time. And I highly recommend all of you to go through all the links here in the slides and check the additional resources as well. After this orientation, I hope that you know that the International Center and the G group is here to support you. Now you already know Kate, Jake, and me, and also you will get to know two Kellys in the future. Just don't be hesitate to ask and explore. I wish you all the best and look forward to seeing you in person on campus. All right, Kate and Jake, are there any additional information that you'd like to add?
I don't have anything to add, no.
Sorry, I was muted. I want to say thank you so much, Tammy. Everybody can tell she is well prepared, and Tammy worked countless hours in crafting this presentation. So thank you. You deserve a break now. Let's move on to Jake, talk about immigration.
All right, thank you very much, Tammy. And again, my name is Jake. I'll be presenting on the immigration portion of this presentation. So I'm going to discuss the steps for applying for your US visa, preparing for your arrival in the US, and what you need to do to maintain your immigration status. I'll finish by going over some of the most frequently asked immigration-related questions by new students. Okay. So you can see here that these are the steps that you need to take to apply for your US visa. First, you'll need to pay the I-901 CVIS fee before your visa interview. And then next, you will need to complete the visa application form, which is the DS-160. After that, you'll pay your visa application fee, and then you'll make an appointment with the consulate. There are additional resources. You can see them linked in green, blue, just additional consulate resources. And then finally, the link that says US visa application website, that is a site that contains this information in greater detail and is available in both Mandarin Chinese and in English. And I just also want to mention that this information about the process is included when you receive your I-20s as well. All right. So as I'm sure you all know, and I'll get to later at the Q&A portion, routine visa services have been suspended routine visa services have been suspended at US consulates and embassies worldwide. So we highly recommend that you apply for your visa as early as you possibly can. Visa processing times might take longer than normal, and visa appointments might be difficult to obtain or might be rescheduled. Students may be issued F1 visas up to 120 days before their I-20 program start date. And if you are within 60 days of your I-20 start date, you may be able to request an expedited appointment. That request may or may not be successful, I just want to mention, but keep that in mind if you're within 60 days of your I-20 start date. Also, be prepared to demonstrate your intent to return home after you complete your academic program. And you may be asked to prove that you still have ties to your home country, such as if your family owns property. So just be prepared for questions surrounding that. And then in the second to last bullet point, you'll see two links for F students and J students about required documents for your visa application. And then below that, we've also included two other international center visa related links that you can refer to. And then lastly, I just want to mention that we are aware that it is very difficult to get visas right now. The International Center is monitoring the situation closely, and we are advocating for you through various government channels. And I'll repeat this many times, but it's very important that you keep in contact with your specific admissions office for the most up-to-date information on this. Okay, now I'll move on to arrival. So there are some things to do before arriving and after arriving that you need to consider. First, highly recommend that you read the International Student Welcome Booklet. You may have received this in an email already for new students, but we've included the link again. It's just a booklet that provides useful resources to help you get settled into Ann Arbor. There are also some undergraduate and graduate, separate undergraduate and graduate resources as well. International Student Mandatory Check-in. You will be notified when your check-in will be and if it will be in person or online. So just keep on the lookout for that and make sure you are there at the beginning of the check-in and stay all the way until the end of the check-in. Very important. Tammy mentioned some logistical considerations in her portion of the presentation. Just make sure that you're making these considerations beforehand, such as transportation, banking, housing, etc. There'll just be one less thing to worry about if you make these arrangements beforehand rather than try to figure them out after you arrive on campus. And then after you arrive, make sure that you confirm that on your I-94 that it has the correct immigration status. So if you're an F student, F1 student, it should say that. If you're a J1 student, it should say that. Next, make sure you obtain a U of M student ID card or an M card. There are deadlines to submit a photo beforehand, and it'll make things easier rather than having to wait in a long line on campus. So we provided links for both undergraduate and graduate students. The undergraduate deadline is July 15th, and the graduate deadline, they say to submit your photo as soon as possible. And then lastly, make sure you attend your specific orientations as well as the International Center orientation. And Kate will provide more details about orientation in her portion of the presentation. Okay, how do you maintain your immigration status? First of all, Maintain good academic standing and make progress towards degree program requirements. That's very, very important. Next, enroll full-time during the academic year, which we consider the fall and winter semesters. There are no enrollment requirements for the spring and summer terms. So during the fall and winter semesters, if you're an undergraduate, you should enroll for 12 credits per term. And if you're a graduate student, at least 8 credits per term. However, if you are a GSI or GSRA, then the minimum requirement is 6 credits per term for graduate students. You also need to make sure you maintain a valid passport and I-20. You need to make sure you maintain health insurance coverage. And then if you're thinking about working on campus, you may work on campus up to 20 hours each week during the academic year. You may work more than 20 hours each week during any break or vacation periods, and the spring summer semesters qualify as a break or vacation period. So during the spring and summer, you can work more than 20 hours on campus. You may not work off campus without proper work authorization. So make sure that you talk to someone at the International Center if you're interested in off-campus work. Okay. So now we're to the FAQ portion of the presentation. A lot of these questions that I'm going to go over are available on our website, and you can access them by clicking on this link up top that says FAQs for newly admitted students. I also want to remind you all that the information that I'm going to tell you is current, but it is subject to change. As you know, regulations can change very frequently. So keep checking the International Center website for updates and other information such as, you know, U.S. consulates and embassy websites, different things like that. So just stay up to date, but the International Center website is a great place to check for updates. Lastly, before I get into it, I want to address that these questions are more general questions that I'm going to mention, and they are applicable to many students. If you do have very specific questions about your particular situation, we recommend that you email icenter@umich.edu, which will be on the last slide of this presentation as well. And if you email that address, an international student advisor will be able to answer your questions. So just keep that in mind as I'm answering these questions. All right, we'll get into it. And the first topic that I want to discuss is questions surrounding immigration documents. Okay. Is the University of Michigan still issuing immigration documents for newly admitted students? Yes. The University of Michigan's International Center, the Office of Undergraduate Admissions, the Rackham Graduate School Admissions, and admissions offices for graduate and professional degrees not administered by Rackham Graduate School are continuing to process immigration documents and serve newly admitted students, all while working remotely. How will the University of Michigan issue my immigration documents? So the Office of Undergraduate Admissions and the Rackham Graduate School of Admissions, they are continuing to review applications and process immigration documents. Just be aware that shipment of these documents might be delayed for various reasons, while staff's working remotely, while the shipping services are have slower processing times than normal. So just be patient and just know that we are working on your documents. The International Center is also continuing to work on documents that are not administered for graduate and professional degrees not administered by Rackham. However, if you belong to one of those graduate and professional programs not administered by Rackham, please contact your specific school or college's admissions office for more information. The International Center will not have that information for you. What actions should I take to have immigration documents sent to me? So once you've accepted your admission offer from the University of Michigan, you'll want to follow the instructions of your school admissions office on how to fully enroll in your program. Once you've submitted all of the necessary documents to your admissions office and have enrolled into your program, you'll receive instructions on how to set up your shipping preferences through a company called eShip Global. And that's how your I-20 or DS 2019 will be mailed, through eShip Global. Just note that there might be a delay in delivery because of the current COVID-19 situation. And then next question. Will I be able to get a student visa? The truth is, we don't know. Since March 20th, all US embassies and consulates around the world have suspended the routine processing of visas due to COVID-19. So we ask that you please work directly with the US Embassy in your home country regarding the earliest possible visa interview date, and then also keep your admissions office updated. So make sure you're in communication with both of them. Depending on your planned arrival date, you may need to defer your in-person enrollment to a later term. I'll talk about deferrals later. And then each school or college on campus is different regarding their latest possible arrival date, their online class offerings, and their deferral options. So it's important that you maintain contact directly with your admissions office to know which options are available to you, because they may differ. I do want to stress again that we're aware that it's very difficult to get visas right now, and we're closely monitoring this, and we are doing all we can to make sure that that our students can come to class, access, or can get their visas and come to campus. Can I get my visa in a third country? For example, in a country where I have a relative or a friend. Technically, you can get your visa in a third country, but you have additional hurdles to overcome, since one of the factors the consular officials look at is continued ties to your home country. If you are in a third country, then you may have additional difficulty in establishing that you plan to return home after your studies. Also, it may be difficult for you to go to a third country due to travel restrictions that each of those countries have imposed on foreign nationals. Do I need a specific type of visa in order to study in the US? We know that some of you might be desperate to study, but you cannot study in the US without being on an F1 or a J1 visa. So you must specifically obtain an F1 or a J1 visa in order to study in the US and enter into the US. What are my options if I can't get a visa? So I'll touch on this later, but you have three options. You can defer your admissions, you can take classes remotely, potentially, and then you can start by taking classes remotely and then join in person later in the semester if your school or college allows this. So this may be different depending on your individual situation. Okay. Another question is, can you talk more about the presidential proclamation suspending entry of some Chinese graduate students and visiting scholars? So on May 29th, President Trump issued a proclamation that Chinese students and scholars who studied at, are employed by, or are funded by organizations influenced by the military cannot enter the US on F or J visas. First of all, this does not apply to undergraduate students. Also, it does not affect graduate students or scholars currently in the United States, although the State Department could revoke visas preventing re-entry. No list of universities has been made public by the Department of State at this point. So we just don't know who will be affected by this. We're waiting for more information. Okay, the next category I'll address are travel-related questions. Will I be able to travel to the US to start my program this fall if I get my visa? The current global situation is fluid, making it impossible to predict whether further restrictions will be put in place by the US government for travelers from high-risk countries, or if international travel to the US will be restricted due to the situation within the US. You'll need to continue to check the travel and visa restrictions that may be in place at the time you are planning to travel to the US. We recommend you monitor the travel updates by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which is the CDC, a US-based organization, as well as resources from your own country's governmental agencies. The International Center is carefully monitoring updates and will update students on our website as we receive more information. Okay, so what about the recent travel restriction on Chinese nationals who have been in China? Okay, so a travel ban was placed on Chinese nationals who were physically present in China during the past 14 days. As of right now, you will have to go to a third country for 14 days before going to the US. At this point, it is not known when these travel restrictions will be removed. You should also be aware of other travel restrictions, such as countries such as Ireland, the United Kingdom, the European Schengen area, Brazil, and Iran. So if you plan to go to these countries for the 14-day period, they also have travel restrictions, so we would advise it against traveling to those regions. What if I need to quarantine for 14 days after arriving in the US? What would I do about things like mandatory check-ins, setting up a bank account, going to class, and others? So the International Center will work with you to make sure that you will be successfully checked in. So just keep an eye out for an email from us on whether check-in will be in person, online, etc., and we will make the necessary adjustments if you do have to quarantine after arriving in the US. As for banking, see if you can set it up online. We typically don't recommend a specific bank, but banks like PNC may offer this. So check in advance with the bank you plan on using if they offer online setup. And then if you do have to quarantine for 14 days and have questions about going to class, contact your specific academic department. Okay, so fall semester status. What is the fall semester status? So on Monday, this has been mentioned before, but on Monday, President Schlissel, the University of Michigan president, announced the plan for fall 2020 that includes in-person class offerings while adhering to social distancing guidelines. There will also be online and hybrid classes offered, and you're wondering how this will affect things from an immigration standpoint. So it will be several weeks before we have all the details regarding this plan and how it will influence visa holders. We recommend that you keep looking at our website for updates. So there will be more information to come regarding that. What happens if my program is only offering online classes this fall semester? Under normal circumstances, the regulations only allow F1 international students who are located in the US to enroll in a maximum of 3 online credits, which may be counted towards their minimum enrollment requirements. The current guidance allowing international students to enroll fully in online courses has not been extended to the fall semester. So if your program is only offering online classes this fall, then you may be able to enroll in classes from your home country. But you'll need to contact your specific admissions office for more information on your eligibility for immigration documents based on your program's decision to only offer online classes this fall semester. So this is, again, very program dependent. As of right now, you will only be issued an I-20 or a DS 2019 for the fall semester if you will be able to enroll full-time in on-campus in-person courses. And the last category is late arrivals and deferrals. What should I do if I arrive in the US late? You will need to contact your admissions office about their specific late arrival procedures. What should I do if I want to defer my admissions to a future semester? Each school and college on campus is different regarding their latest possible arrival date, online class offerings, and deferral options. it is important to maintain contact directly with your admissions office and school college to know what options are available to you. If I already paid the SEVIS fee and then defer my admissions, can I transfer that SEVIS fee to a future date? And if so, for how long? If you defer your admissions and the International Center updates your current SEVIS record, then you do not need to pay a new SEVIS fee. If we have to create a new SEVIS record in the future, then you may be able to transfer that SEVIS fee to the new record if it is within 1 year. So if you defer for 1 semester or for 1 year, then that is a possibility. Okay, so I know that's a lot of information, and I know I may have repeated myself a lot about contacting your specific, school or college, but that's absolutely crucial to keep in touch with your school or college and your specific admissions or admissions office. So with that said, I want to stress again that the International Center we're doing all that we can to advocate for all of our incoming international students and current international students, and just keep looking at our website for most up-to-date information. As we get more information, we will be updating it. Okay, so before we move on to the orientation and beyond slides, I want to ask Tammy and Kate if they have anything else to add on the immigration portion of the presentation.
I don't. Thank you for such a well-prepared presentation and helping new international students to stay up to date. How about you, Tammy?
Yeah, I don't either, but just remind all of you that it's everything about the course register and something about your school. It always depends on the different schools. For example, because we are from the School of Social Work, so the School of Social Work students, we can take online courses in China without a US student visa. So it's quite reasonable to just refer to your school administration. Yeah, so that's it.
All right, thank you, Jake. Thank you, Tammy. Let's move on to the last segment of this entire presentation, orientations and beyond. Thank you for keeping yourself muted. So Tammy mentioned at the very beginning, Midwest. So you're familiar with the term Midwest, how Michigan, everybody putting their hand up and showing where Ann Arbor is located. So something just to be aware is, of course, in any culture, we cannot just say, it generalize everybody in this particular region will look like X, Y, Z, right? So we're talking in generalizing Midwest culture is really, Ann Arbor is a college town. So that means large student body on campus, faculty, staff, and people who are affiliated with university, all working for University of Michigan, whether it's a department, whether it's in a hospital. So everybody you interact probably have some affiliation with the university, plus businesses to support us here living in Ann Arbor. So people are very approachable in the sense that they may say good morning to you, smiling at you the first time, and you don't know the person, so you might be surprised in how friendly people are, which is a good thing, because if you go to large cities, everybody's busy and they just rush through and they're not saying anything to you, which is very common, I'm sure, in large cities in China, in Beijing, in Shanghai. You may notice that as well, versus if you go to a smaller city. So when you encounter that situation, somebody say good morning, respond back just by saying good morning. When somebody asks you, how are you? And you can say, how are you? Oh, I'm doing fine. And sometimes you may notice when people say, how are you? And there's no conversation followed after that, which is normal, because this is a culture how people greet each other in the United States. Things that you should avoid talking with people: age, sexual orientation, salary, relationship, political views, income levels, all those, very important things. It could make people very comfortable in the future. They may avoid talking to you because those are considered private conversations. Other thing you want to be aware will be the social potluck. It's very common in United States. You need to be invited going to those events. When you go to those events, always practice some social etiquette by asking the host, is there anything that I can bring to the potluck? Could be a dish, appetizer, main dish, whatever your favorite dish might be. Just being mindful at people, maybe they don't eat certain meats or vegetables and that type of things. But also if the host say, no, there's nothing you need to bring, we're all set, we have everything. But you could consider bring like some flour, a bottle of wine to the potluck as well. So I think it's really potluck, meaning everybody brings something to contribute to this potluck event. Other things that I want to remind you of, probably also nice, now you have time, consider to buy something that's small and inexpensive souvenir from China and bring them with you when you come to United States. Those things could be, go as you are making new friends with people. It could be occasion, for example, we're doing some virtual event and we're asking people to bring something that representing your culture, your country, and you'll be able to show that to people at an event virtually as well. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI is really big thing here on campus. You may heard all of us when we introduce ourselves at the very beginning, we use, telling you what gender pronouns we use. You may also heard we describing, what color clothes we're wearing today, because we want to be mindful, intentional in case there are people maybe with some visual disabilities. Challenges for international students. As a former international student, I can relate a lot of challenges on this PowerPoint. Luckily, I didn't have to struggle with every single thing, but a lot of things that still resonate with me as a former international student. For example, I am also not a native speaker. I am from China. So language is a big thing, and I was looking for every single opportunities that Tammy shared as well, trying to improve my English proficiency. Classroom difference and culture difference. How do you work with your academic advisor? Develop that good relationship that might be from different culture. It varies from culture to culture. So you have to know your advisor's style and how to work with them in order to make sure that you will be successful pursuing your degree here. So making sure you utilize office hours, manage your time as well. Don't be shy. Always go to visit your academic advisor. If you're undergraduate students, you have the graduate students instructor, utilize their office hours, asking them. It's good that you are leaving them with a good impression. You have done your homework, asking the right question. If there's a job opportunities, you might be the first one get an offer. Personal things, because you are away from home, you don't have the friends and the network that normally there for you, right? You may not like the weather. Tammy mentioned about winter, though I will say winter is beautiful here in Ann Arbor, beautiful snow, everything too. Changing your identity. Sometimes you feel like in China, you don't feel any cultural difference and because it's everybody like the same like you are. But when you come to United States, you will notice that you're the minority group here. So you may trying to struggle with a lot of things as a minority leaving United States. On top of that, you are an international student here. Financial difficulties could be another one. Maybe all of a sudden you lost the funding from your department. What do you do? So those are the resources we have putting at the very end of the PowerPoint, and you make sure that you utilize all the resources to support yourself. Now, one thing is I noticed in the chat, the CSSA, Chinese Student Scholar Association, making sure you keep contact with them, whether it's through the Weixin or Weibo or anything. And then they do have a wonderful new students guide, which is hyperlink, that I worked with them closely last year to make sure information is up to date. This is important, maintaining close contact with CSSA, especially the first semester or even first academic year, because you can really relate a lot of struggle challenges you are encountering with your fellow Chinese students, right? And the CSSA is great, doing a lot of events to support Chinese students. So making sure you maintain contact. Now, I say that maintain contact with CSSA, but I also encourage you to step outside CSSA comfort zone because you are in United States, you are studying at the University of Michigan. There are a lot of campus resources helping you to expand your network beyond the CSSA. May's page listing over 1,600 student organizations that you should really do some homework. Finding the one maybe that really you feel you're very interested. And during festival and not-fest festival events for students, and they will set up tables. So you'll be able to approach the students' organization that you have in mind, asking them questions and sign up as well. I want to caution you, there are so many student organizations during festival and NOWSFest. So don't just sign up all because you will bombard with all the overwhelming emails you receive. Make sure you're being very strategic, prioritize. Maybe just say, I already have a couple in mind, but thank you, not this time. Maybe in the future, I'll come back and visit the organization. Another thing is called Happening at Michigan. This is a hyperlink. You'll be able to search events offered every day on campus. Some of the events is opening to everybody, including people living in a community. Other events might be very limited to students affiliated with a student organization. We at International Center has International Center Students Council. Most of the students members on the council are international students. It's purely volunteer position. And this group really helping us to identify the issues that really affecting international students. So we'll start recruiting new members. We hope you'll be able to sign up and join ICSC. Last but not least, your department may have their own students organization, not necessarily posted on the May's pages. So make sure that you keep close contact with your graduate coordinator and then asking them, is there an organization that belongs to the students studying computer science, at a business, and then join the group as well. Now, I know this is in everybody's mind. How do I find the internship? And then how do I even find a job after I graduate? With the current climate, you're like really very encouraged. So I will say this is hopefully it's only temporary. Things will change, will improve for better. I remain optimistic. I've been working here for many years. We international educator working at International Center advocate on your behalf. We're writing letters to government officials, advocating for you, emphasize the importance of having international students on campus because you really enrich the classroom discussion. So the career services, that's how it works on campus. Almost at each college and school, there is whether an office or maybe a staff member designated to helping students enrolled at that particular school for their internship or job search opportunities. So you want to look it up on hyperlink once we share the presentation. There's a LinkedIn group that Tammy shared as well. We International Center always collaborate with career offices on campus, offer different workshops, helping international students to navigate the job search. But I do want to highlight some of the tips really shared by international students with our office. One is be proactive. What it means that don't wait until the last semester you're graduating and then started working on your resume, started learning how to do interview, started building your network. In my opinion, that's too late. You should start as soon as possible. Maybe not necessarily first semester because you are in a new environment. There's so much you have to figure out, right? You're taking classes, getting familiar with the campus and everything. Probably, into your second semester, started looking around on campus, even just going to the job fair just to see what it looks like. So you will be well prepared. So start early. Build cross-cultural knowledge. I mentioned the culture differences, writing resume. If you don't have any experience, you want to learn what expected in the US on the resume. I have noticed some international students on their resume, they put age, marital status, social security number, everything on their resume. This is not acceptable in the US. So you want to be mindful not releasing those information because those are considered private information, including your immigration status. You should never put it on your resume. Volunteer opportunities, some students saying, well, it's a volunteer position, especially it is unpaid position. Should I take it? I always say, if the volunteer opportunity is what you are interested, whether paid or not, that's not important. What's important, the volunteer opportunity gives you the opportunity to interact with other people, improve your language skills, improve your other communication styles, know how to manage your time. So you should take the opportunity. Sometimes maybe the position is volunteer because the professor doesn't have the funding yet. But once you started volunteer, showing how good you are, the knowledge, the skill set you have, guess what? You might be the first one receive an offer from the professor. Learn practical skills I mentioned about language skills, skills how to interact with people, soft skills, meaning how to interact with people, your personal leadership styles as well. Now, orientation term is really, there are a lot of orientations, can be very confusing, right? Undergraduate students, you have online orientation, all of you should be aware of and sign up. For graduate students, there's a Rackham School has a orientation, and your college and school and department even has its own orientation. And we are offering pre-departure orientation for new international students like this one. We also offered another one on Monday for new Taiwanese students. We have 2 additional sessions that's open to all new international students in July. So if you know any friends who are not able to join today's session, please share this information with them. I know I asked CISA also shared through Weixin as well. So we have space available. Those are really beneficial for new international students. We're also aware CSSA is doing orientation for new students in Shanghai. Because the recent outbreak COVID in Beijing, I think Beijing is currently putting on hold. So all those information is available also on our website, and I'm sure on the CSSA through their Weixin as well. International Center orientation. So we offer an orientation. Primarily, I think it's attended by graduate students because the undergraduate students has its own mandatory orientation. We used to do a 3-week in-person orientation, but this year, because COVID-19, we're not able to do an in-person orientation. However, we will continue to offer those workshops virtually. We will update our presentation, putting them on the website so you have access as well. All those orientation works are carefully crafted, making sure it's meeting the new international students' needs, whether it's from the basic banking transportation to legal issues. For example, legal issues, drinking age in the United States. Are new students aware drinking age is 21 in the United States? In some cultures, that probably is not as clear as in the United States. Marijuana, you might have heard, legalized, right? However, U.S. federal rule says it's still considered illegal. Now, as a non-immigrant, you have to comply with all the immigration regulation. Immigration regulation falls under federal regulation. So if you are using marijuana or have any possession, that's going to put you in deep trouble. Academic support, library, how to use all the library resources. Library has resources helping you how to use citation properly. Health insurance and health services and making friends. How do I make friends? I really want to make friends. Not just making friends with Americans, making friends with people from around the globe as well. How do I find a job on campus? What are some of the tips and resources that's available for me? So we have all those information available. To help new international students, we also have a virtual meeting. It's called Ask Me. You should have received in our newsletter. This is really an opportunity for new students asking questions, and then we will have staff member and Tammy will join us to facilitate the conversation. Once we selected orientation peer advisors, we're hoping we'll be able to set up more virtual sessions and giving new students opportunity to ask us and chat with us as well. Beyond orientation, if you wonder what do, we do a lot. This is just the list. It's not exhaustive list. It's just some examples I want to show you. A couple of things I want to highlight. Lunch and Learn is very popular. So depending on what is the emerging issue, for example, next week, we have a Lunch and Learn talking about Black Lives Matter in the United States. And you probably have heard a lot of protests in the United States and also in other countries as well. So we want to make sure using this opportunity, asking questions and learn from each other. Meet, Eat, an American Life. This has been very popular among international students. So University of Michigan faculty and staff will be able to hosting international students in person, but with COVID-19 this fall, it's not going to be possible. So we are exploring and hoping to do this, deliver the program virtually. One thing I do want to remind everybody, this is from what I heard from the admissions office, a lot of new students accepted, but they're not checking their UMich email. As a result, they're not receiving the information. So make sure you check your UMich email. For important information, we send out newsletter. We send it through your UMich newsletter. If your immigration document is going to expire, that's when International Center sends you email. So if you don't check the email, you're going to miss all those important informations. This is the additional resources that Tammy and Jake mentioned at the very beginning. So Tammy spent a lot of time compile all this together. A lot of links we're not able to insert at each individual slide, but we put them together. Hopefully after presentation, we put on a website, and then also the recording. You have the opportunity to take the time, review each link, and get familiar with the information. And then I think that covered all the presentations we have. We also have an evaluation survey here and also the QR code. If one of the Kellys can copy and paste this through the chat, those of you who are able to do the evaluations, we would appreciate your feedback because this is the first time we deliver this. We would really appreciate your input, helping us improve this in the future. We're still hoping next year we'll be able to travel to China, to various cities. We are excited. We look forward to meeting you hopefully next year in person. With that, let's see what questions that we have not addressed through chat. Maybe one of the Kellys can tell us.
Can you hear me?
Now I can, yes.
Okay, I think Kelly's trying to talk, but I can't hear her.
Okay.
I think the one question that hasn't been answered was about having to repay the SEVIS fee. So if students are transferring their admission to another semester, will they have to repay their SEVIS fee?
I can answer that. So just to be clear, the question is if a student defers their admissions to the next semester, do they have to pay the SEVIS fee again?
Yes.
Okay. So if you defer your admissions to, let's say, the winter 2021 semester, you do not need to pay a new SEVIS fee. But the international, make sure you let us know because the International Center needs to update your current SEVIS record that you're enrolling in the following semester. If we do have to create a new SEVIS record for a student in the future, then you still may be able to transfer that SEVIS fee if the new to the new record if it is within 1 year. So basically, we can comfortably say at this point that if you are deferring for 1 semester or 1 year, then you will not have to repay the SEVIS fee.
Next question just popped up is, I could just maybe go over the process for deferring admission. I think there's still a little bit of confusion.
Yeah. So that's understandable if there's a lot of confusion because there isn't much guidance at this point. But if you do want to defer your admissions to a future semester, each school or college on campus is different regarding their latest possible arrival date options, if they're offering online classes and what their deferral options are. So it's very important that you specifically contact your admissions office and your school or college to know which options are available to you, because it can differ greatly. So make sure you're in contact again with your specific admissions office and then your specific school or college that you are part of.
All right. I think for the most part, I think we've gotten all of the questions. I guess if people want to throw in one last one really quickly, we have 1 minute left, but
Sure.
I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah. Thank you, Kelly, for working behind the scene, answering all the questions through chat. And then I just want to reiterate the importance of really any updates, information, everything, make sure you check International Center website, because we constantly updating our website. Jake mentioned there's a section specifically for new students. You're gonna make sure check that website, because that's how we relate information. If there's a regulatory change, we update the website. In terms of university classes, all that is really out of International Center's expertise. So you want to make sure go to the university website, communicate with your department. It's really depending on the curriculum design. This is really varies from college to college, department to department. So those are the things that we are not able to answer. Anything else? Last minute thing maybe from Tammy or Jake?
No, I just want to say, thank you, Kate and Tammy, for your help with this. And thank you to the Kellys for answering all of the questions. I know that after I presented, I went to the chat and saw a ton of questions. So I appreciate both of you answering those, so I didn't have to, go through all of those questions.
Yeah, I mean, for the immigration one, which is the most tough one, and Jake just try his best to do this. So I hope you all just understand, and and we're here for you. So just look forward to see all of you in a number.
Great. Thank you, Jake, again. Thank you, Tammy. I know that you were not able to hear the song that I played at the very beginning, but once we post on the website, you'll be able to enjoy that song. I think fighting song is very popular in Michigan. Even when you go to sports events, you hear everybody, singing the song. So you want to learn how to sing the song as well. All right, so the last slide has all the social media link we have, how to communicate with our office, email address. The best way is to email us, just be patient, because in addition to new students, we continue to serve current students, and we have a large scholars population as well. We're still working remotely, even though our office is closed, but we're still working. We never stopped working, we never stopped delivering programs for students in the summer. So we hope you will have safe travels, and looking forward to meeting you in person in Ann Arbor, hopefully soon. Take care, everyone.
All right, bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.